Hey TNA fam, how's it going? For today, we are back again to talk more TNA wrestling shenanigans. And TNA just announced, properly announced, what I at least will consider to be, at this point, the main event for Bound for Glory between Nick Nemeth and Leon Slater. So this is kind of crazy. And we saw the aftermath of lockdown, like I said, but like I've said before, there's always chance that they can change things. But realistically, when you get these sorts of things happening like this at the end of the day, in many ways, I feel like you really like when you announce something like this, properly announce it, not just say, hey, this someone's cashing in or somebody's got the number one contendership or yada yada yada. When you get a match graphic like this, 9 times out of 10 it doesn't change. And there is a good reason for that, for the most part, because again, you want to deliver on what you're advertising for the most part. So when you announce something, you often don't want to change it too much from what it is to what it is going to be. So yeah, like I'm just saying that to say, like, at the end of the day, basically it's just going to be Nick Nemeth versus Leon Slater. Maybe there'll be a stipulation added or something else or whatever else. I am, as I said, very curious to see how like Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth are going to defend the World Tag Team titles at Bound for Glory, which I assume they're going to do. I was thinking before, is there a possibility for them to be like in the opening match and then then Nick be in the final match after having a bit of a rest? Is there a chance for, potentially Leon to have another match on the night to try to even things out or whatever, that sort of thing? I was curious whether, like, is there any way that they could make Bound for Glory like 2 nights? Like, they've, like, WWE has done a lot of that, but TNA typically hasn't. They have done it like once or twice here or there, but mostly that was during the pandemic and whatnot for the most part, I believe. They haven't really done it of late for anything, so it does make me quite interested to see how they're going to work that out. And maybe, like I said this before, where I said, like, maybe they'll actually take the tag titles off the Nemesis before Bound for Glory, but that seems really stupid. But it does make some amount of sense because, again, like I just talked about this in another video that we produced, where the Hardys title run got cut, that it's like, well, that was because they were going to Canada, and for some reason somebody didn't have the foresight to be like, oh yeah, shit, we're going to Canada. Well, we can't put the titles on Matt and Jeff now, or if we are going to put them on Matt and Jeff, well, we just have to rely on Matt being the sole tag team guy for a little while or whatever, up here. So it is what it is. So I have gone, like I said before a while ago, I have gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with this. I really don't know what to think yet. I think a lot of people, and even me included, would love to see Leon win the world championship. And as I said, like, I see so much comments, and I think I made a video a while about it, about the X Division Option C, about people complaining about Option C, and I have seen a few people complaining about Option C again, since this has happened, now that Leon's cashing in for this opportunity. But the thing is, this is the first time since Kazarian cashed in Option C in 2022. So what, 4 years ago? Yeah. Like I hear people say, oh, they use option C too much. Dude, this is the first time in 4 years that they've done it. Like, what do you mean that they do it too much? Like, I know they did it there for a little while every year, but there's only been like, what, 6 or 7 people, six, seven, oh, whatever, you know the meme, whatever, or so, whatever, that have actually cashed in that title. And yes, I know that the whole thing was introduced in like what, 2012, 2011, somewhere around there. I can't remember. I don't know. At some point around that time. So what, like, oh, about a decade ago or so, a bit over a decade ago, I guess, actually. Um, yeah, about 15 years ago, actually. Yeah, roughly about 15 years ago. So, 14, 15 years ago. 14, 15. I'll get that going now next. But yeah, no. That's, it's crazy to me to see, like, people want people to be elevated, but yet they don't want people to use option C. Like, what? That's what makes it interesting sometimes to see, like, oh, is this going to happen? But everyone's always expecting it to happen as well, which is like one of those things. Oh, they're going to use option C. They're definitely using option C. So much talk about, like, they're going to use option C. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Yada, yada. And then they don't do it. And then they're like, well, they're going to do it. Still, they keep talking about, like, using option C. But like I said, like, I don't know what to think of this. Like, this is, like, beyond just this is a big time match in many ways. But like, I like Leon, and we've talked so goddamn much about, like, whether he's leaving or whether he's not leaving and all those shenanigans for so goddamn long. And for frick's sake, I don't care at a certain point. Like, if he's staying, cool, great, again. If he's going, cool, great, cool. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of, like, the people saying, oh, he's just gonna leave anyway. It doesn't fucking matter. He's just leaving anyway. And yeah. Everybody leaves. Like that. So, yeah, I get it, bro. I get that basically a lot of people do go to WWE and take their chances and blah, 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 and whatnot and all of that stuff. And I know he could be leaving and could be going to WWE as well. So I'm not ruling it out at all. I'm just saying, bro, please get some new material and stop saying exactly the same thing every freaking time. It's ridiculous to see these people always coming out of the woodwork saying exactly the same thing. And I know there's been reports of it and things like that with his contract coming up at some point and whatnot. We've talked about it so much, but like I say, we've looked at the WWE landscape a lot in the last, like, I don't know, however many years it's been. And every time I say the same things about WWE and AEW, pretty much as well, that if you go there, it's a crapshoot. Yes, maybe in NXT you'll get a good opportunity to do some stuff, but then main roster, I don't know about that. And I think, like, again, the TKO stuff and whatnot, sort of, I don't want to say just takeover, but more takeover sort of stuff where they're, more in the booking and whatnot. Excuse me, sorry. Ah, dear. But anyway, yeah, TKO being in the booking and whatnot really hurts the product, really hurts. I think especially, I don't want to just say young guys, but the newer guys, because they're very comfortable just going with the same old shit that they've been going with for however long that they've been going with it for. But yeah, TNA is obviously a lot different. But yeah, again, I still do feel like that level of corporate, well, we've got to do what brings in business. Is this going to bring in business? And the thing is, like I said in a video a while back, you've got to be willing to take that slight dip sometimes for it to get hot again later on, because that's the way wrestling works. It's not an infinite growth machine. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's a bit mediocre and a bit lukewarm or whatever else it is. But after a while, suddenly things catch up again, they get hot again, and yeah, you just hit lightning in a bottle or whatever else you want to say. And yeah, you're making that do, re, mi, fa, so, ti, lo, vi, whatever. And you're getting stonks views and stonks attendance and all of that sort of stuff. And then a few weeks later, a few months later, or whatever it is, it goes down a little bit. So yeah, like it is a bit of a roller coaster, but yes, obviously we want the product to be as best as what it can be and reaching as many people as what it can be and all of that stuff. I just don't know. Like I said, I feel like KC Navarro has the biggest and best story, but I still do think Leon is worthy of being a main event level guy. And we've seen this match before a few times, actually, but people probably have forgotten about it for the most part. Because most of them, I think, were like on random episodes of, well, I don't want to just say random episodes, but they were on mostly random episodes of Impact. Like, I think they actually had a couple pay-per-view matches as well, maybe. I can't remember now, honestly, as well. For the most part. But yeah, we have seen Leon beat Nemeth. We have obviously seen Nemeth beat Leon, but again, we have seen Leon beat Nemeth. And, like, again, I don't know how you could craft this for Leon to lose, but like sort of at least be more elevated into that more upper main event sort of scene more consistently, and yet still be a fixture there, at least for a little while, until the point at which he does win it. You know what I mean? Because there has to be a time where he does win it. And I think a lot of people do want to see him become the youngest world champion in history. That's kind of a very cool thing as well. So I'm not saying that he can't become champion either. So I'm just really on the fence with this one. I don't know what to think about this. Obviously, we will dive into it a lot more when Bound for Glory is coming up, a lot closer, because that is a couple of months away. But it is really good, like I said, to have this, be like officially announced, not just, oh yeah, this is what is happening in storyline, but look, it's officially announced. And, well, I can't remember when the tickets went on sale, but they went on sale fairly recently. So yeah, like, that's good. I think it was the I don't want to say private sale, but the fans only, or the exclusive access sale, effectively, I believe. Let's see if I can see. This is AMC. Where is? Let's just TNA on WrestleTix. So that's AMC. Oh, here's Bound for Glory. So this was, what was this? This was like a week ago that I think this is one of their first tickets updates. Tickets distributed 488. I think there was more distributed recently, but they haven't got this updated yet, so we'll wait and see. Current setup 2,444. Available tickets 1,956. Total number of tickets on the map, so again, they haven't opened up the whole arena, is 9,440. So that is a good amount to start, especially like 2 months out. August, September, October, because Bound for Glory is in October. Or roughly 2 months away. But still, it's a good number to start. And as we know, TNA usually sells the last, couple of hundred, whatever tickets, like a couple of days beforehand. And I don't think that this is counting in what lockdown was. I don't think so, anyway. Or the announcements from lockdown and this. So yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty decent start to the selling of the tickets. But yeah, I wanted to have a look, obviously, at what we've got going on there with the tickets, because it's always important to have a look at where the ticket sales are at. But yeah, for now, like, it does depend on how they craft the story between Leon and Nick Nemeth as well. Like, I can already predict a lot of it very easily, but it's how you're going to showcase, is Leon ready for that position? And I think, honestly, in a lot of ways, he is. But I think the biggest hurdle beyond, like, in storyline is the unfortunate, obvious whether Leon is staying with TNA. Because that's what, even I recognize that, yeah, of course, you could be going to WWE or AEW or whatever. But my question, I guess, for Leon, and not to say that he's not a superstar, he's certainly a superstar, absolutely, in many, many ways. But wouldn't you rather be like a more heavily featured main event like level guy? Because if you're a more featured main event level guy, I just think, especially even if it's in TNA, I know, I still feel like you can get a whole lot more out of going to WWE by being a bit more of a bigger star. That way that you can sort of, like, get in at a better point, if you see what I mean, or at least negotiate a better deal in many ways. Because again, like, even Kofi Kingston and guys like that were very big time in WWE, and a lot of other people that, had a lot of potential in WWE. Well, WWE just cut them, because, well, we're looking to make that dosh, and we're like, don't really care about potentials. We want results, and I can understand that, and that in that way it's fair enough to an extent, but not really giving people the chance to do that while saying we expect results from you is like, tying somebody to the post and then saying get out of being tied up, basically, I guess. So yeah, I just think that it's a bit of a slap you sort of step that they often do. They slap you and then they're like, well, why are you mad, bro? Like, whatever sort of thing. But anyway, it is what it is anyway, guys. But yeah, that is the only match or thing announced thus far. I am sure, like, eventually they will announce a few more things, like, and whatnot. And we'll have to, and I do really hope that they start building a lot of stories for Bound for Glory. Like, we've seen some stuff for, like, the X Division, being built, and I think Santino said something exclusive, but like, it hasn't, like, we don't know the participants. I know it's going to be I think it's going to be a 6-man match, I think, but we don't know anything more than that. And I think, like, until we know more about what's going on, which they'll probably announce this week, or at least talk about this week, or start working on this week, which I'm going to start calling the X Division Bound for Glory series as well. So get that trending, guys. Yeah, and I'll even start saying that here and there in places and whatnot, to try to get that, going as well a bit more. But yeah, like, getting that stuff going, that'll be good. So at least we'll find, like, and I still think Cedric Alexander should be, like, in this match, like, in the finals or fairly close to it, or he should get the first opportunity at whoever's the X Division champion or whatever, something like that at least. Because again, he's owed a rematch, so hey, Actually, that was funny. Like, I think I saw like the old vacant account, which is always a funny thing to see. Like, I think he said like he's 14-time X Division champion or something like that. I can't remember, but anyway, it was funny to see that. But anyway, guys, yeah, that is pretty much it for this one. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you will be well, and that you'll be able to join me again in another one.